Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. The Quezon City LGU is suing the manning agency of the UK variant patient from Liloan, Cebu, who was found in quarantine with another person in QC. Greg Gregorio has the full story.
The UK variant patient, who was reportedly a resident of Liloan, Cebu, has been found in a residential area in Quezon City through the help of the NBI. The 35-year-old male is one of the 8 new variant cases reported by the Health Department on February 5. The LGU of Liloan had earlier said the individual was not tested for the virus in Cebu.
He was identified to be from Liloan, Cebu, but because that was the address that he has given, no, dito po sa ating detalye ng laboratory. And then we later found out that he traveled back to Manila on a specific date. He had himself tested because I don't know if he's planning to go abroad, and then he was found to be positive. And yun na po nag-umpisa, sinequence, and he was found to be having this UK variant.
The patient is a former OFW in Korea who had been staying in Cebu since August 2020, but he had been living in Parañaque since November 17 while processing papers with his manning agency in Malate, Manila. His last visit to the manning agency was on January 14, 2021, when he secured a new overseas placement. The patient underwent swab testing on January 17 and stayed in a hotel in Santa Cruz, Manila. He tested positive for the virus the following day. His samples were sent to the Philippine Genome Center for whole genome sequencing and stayed at the hotel until January 21. He was then moved by his manning agency from Manila to an apartment in Riverside, Barangay Commonwealth and Quezon City via a ride-hailing transport service. But the Quezon City LGU only knew of this yesterday.
Medyo hindi conducive for isolation yung or quarantine yung lugar na pinagdalan sa kanya. So hindi rin alam ng barangay na meron palang nagko-quarantine doon kasi hindi naman tayo na-inform.
The patient was found with a fellow OFW applicant in the apartment. His companion is also applying for overseas deployment with the same manning agency. The LGU is already doing active case finding, contact tracing, and backward tracing for around 20 days to identify the source of the infection and to determine whether there was transmission.
Ang hinahabol natin ngayon ay kung meron bang nag-exhibit ng COVID-19 symptoms doon sa lugar at matest sila. Okay? So once the testing is done and we saw, nakikita tayo na merong mga clustering dun sa area, meaning 1 or 2 household na merong COVID positive, criteria na natin to for lockdown.
They will also reach out to the hotel in Manila to know why he was released. Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte says they'll sue the patient's manning agency, Baltic Asia Crewing, for a number of protocol violations next week. With this, the DOH says there are no new UK variant cases so far, and the tally remains at 25. The next batch of gene sequencing results by the Philippine Genome Center might be released tomorrow. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
The Health Department logged more than 1,700 new COVID-19 cases on Thursday. And this brings the case count to some 543,000, some 30,000 of which are still considered active. The death toll is currently at 11,000 with 68 fatalities in the past 24 hours. 400 more patients have recovered from the virus, bringing the total recoveries to over 500,000. Here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. At least 600,000 doses from Chinese pharmaceutical firm Sinovac are set to arrive in the country on February 23. Palace spokesman Roque says the shipment will include the 100,000 shots that were donated to China or donated by China to our government. The Food and Drug Administration has yet to approve Sinovac's application for emergency use. The FDA has greenlit the compassionate use of Sinopharm jabs for the members of the Presidential Security Group. Spokesman Roque says the PSG will be receiving some 10,000 doses of the China-made vaccines. The PSG recently came under fire for the unauthorized inoculation of its personnel, also using vaccines from Sinopharm. And the health department wants to include foreigners in the country's vaccination program. Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergara told Agenda that everyone should have access to COVID-19 vaccines regardless of nationality. Many Filipinos are still on the fence about getting vaccinated against COVID-19. But health experts say not to fret, as deaths from the vaccines are extremely rare. JC Cosico with the details.
Many local government units are all set for the arrival of COVID-19 vaccines this month. But based on multiple surveys, many Filipinos are still hesitant to receive the jabs due to their possible side effects.
Ayoko muna, natatakot ako eh.
Bakit? Sakit ako.
Mamaya ibabagay side effect eh. Kaya ayoko muna.
But experts insist that the side effects are mild and manageable.
These reactions are mild to moderate and are usually gone within the first 3 days. They can be managed with paracetamol, pain relievers, hydration, or cold compresses.
The Philippine Society of Allergy, Asthma and Immunology says mild allergic reactions such as itchy skin, runny nose, rashes, and sneezing can be managed with antihistamines, while severe allergic reactions or anaphylaxis caused by COVID-19 vaccines are also rare, with no deaths recorded. Still, epinephrines are on standby in vaccination sites should anyone experience adverse effects. Health experts are stressing the importance of a 30-minute observation after vaccination. Pre-medication is likewise discouraged.
We tend to discourage taking antihistamines and steroids before getting vaccinated because they don't always prevent anaphylaxis, and they will mask the initial symptoms of anaphylaxis, so it will delay our diagnosis.
Immunocompromised individuals may also receive the jabs, but PSAAI says their response may not be as good compared to people with stable conditions. Pregnant mothers, on the other hand, who are considered high risk, like pregnant healthcare workers, may also get vaccinated. However, those who had allergic reactions following the first dosage will no longer receive the second dose, while persons who are allergic to any component of the vaccine is prohibited to be inoculated. PSAAI says persons who are allergic to other vaccines and injectable medicines should seek medical help. In an interview with Radyo 5, the health department supported this, saying it is still best to consult with doctors.
Ang kailangan po nila lahat gawin ay pumunta sa kanilang mga doktor, magpa-assess po sila at kumuha po sila ng clearance or certificate para masabi ng doktor that they are eligible to receive the vaccines because they have a stable condition as of this time.
The DOH also assured the public that access to consultation will be made available even in rural areas. PSAAI also reminded the public to be wary of unauthorized sellers of COVID-19 vaccines, as these are still not available for commercial use. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
We're going to pause for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. are still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The COVID-19 pandemic is still withering away profits of some businesses, such as that of the flower industry. Let's check in on the situation of our local farmers with Jenny Dongon, who joins us live from Baguio City. Jenny, how's the demand for flowers so far? We have a few days to go before Valentine's Day.
Sean, most flower farmers here in Benguet, especially in La Trinidad, are hoping that they can now bounce back from their losses. But with only a few days left before the Valentine's Day, they are still awaiting orders from areas in the country. Over in Barangay Bahong in La Trinidad, farmers are so far not satisfied with the turnout of their sale. They told our news team that they cannot do the usual mass harvest of flowers due to the lack of demand. This is a far cry from previous years prior to the pandemic, when they couldn't even supply all orders. Bahong is considered as the main producer of roses, which are distributed in various areas including Dangwa. But COVID-19 has been taking its toll on the flower industry in the roses capital of the Philippines. There were instances that supplies were destroyed as deliveries to areas outside Benguet were halted. But this did not stop some farmers to look into alternative ways of selling their products. Others diverted to selling potted flowers instead, which is the current trend among plantitos and plantitas. Flower farmers and traders here in Benguet are still hoping to recover from the impact of the pandemic. Sean, for now, they can only wish that the demand for flowers will go up as the Valentine's Day draws near. Sean.
All right, thank you so much for that report from Baguio City. That was News 5's Jenny Dongon. Malacanang says the Motor Vehicle Inspection System, or MVIS, will no longer be mandatory. What this means is that motorists will no longer be charged with additional fees prior to registration. A Senate committee earlier recommended the temporary suspension of the MVIS as more questions were raised in the previous hearing. Meanwhile, President Duterte has also ordered to defer the implementation of the child car seat law. And in the United States, a lawyer who was caught in a viral Zoom catastrophe says that he now knows how to avoid such virtual gaffes next time. Attorney Rod Ponton from Texas, USA, recently appeared as a very confused kitten during a Zoom hearing. It turns out the lawyer was using a cat filter, which he did not know how to switch off. Ponton told Reuters that he's still not sure how it was enabled, but that he has learned a lot from the experience. District Judge Roy Ferguson, who helped him remove the filter, described it as a fun moment. Judge Ferguson added that, as shown on the viral video, everyone handled the situation with grace and dignity. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.